I disagree, but...
What? On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, the real cost of GTA 6.
You're spending £18 million on keeping the lights on and running the computers.
New voice lines revealed.
See you again, sir.
Perfect. Yes, exactly like that. And the best version of GTA 6 just got more expensive. I mean, that's gonna now be almost $1,000. It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 118 of GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. I hope you are all enjoying the Easter Bunny or the holidays or just the week if you don't believe in either of those things. I'm your host, James JJ Jarvis, and here in the studio to talk with me, as usual, about all things GTA 6 and Rockstar games is Dan DD Dawkins. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
How are you doing? You believe in both those things, don't you? Holidays and the Easter Bunny?
I do. I thought initially, you asked me, do I believe in the concept of a week? And
all three of those things.
I do. I believe in you.
Good.
Tabulated calendar system.
So much, you believe in them so much that you're actually having a holiday, hence why we are recording this episode early, fans.
Yes, we are. So were trailer 3 to have dropped?
I'm deleting all this and I'll do it on my own. Don't worry.
Exactly. So don't worry.
Right. Let's quickly cover off that explosive statement we had at the beginning. The best version of GTA 6 is now more expensive. Of course, I am talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro price increase. Now, Sony say, with continued pressures in the global economic landscape, we've made the decision to increase the prices of PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, and PlayStation Portable Remote Player globally. We know the price change impacts our community, and after careful evaluation, we have found this was a necessary step to ensure we can continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to players worldwide. The recommended retail price for PlayStation 5 consoles are affecting starting April 2nd. Mm-hmm. So as you are listening to this, they're already more expensive than they were last week.
Yep.
And they are as follows. For all territories, please check with your local retailer or direct PlayStation.com where it is available. Essentially, everything is going up by about 100 in your local currency.
Yeah.
So in the US, PlayStation 5 Pros was $749 going up to $899 and $900. UK Pro was £640 going up to £790 now.
Yeah. And
in Europe, a Pro was around about 7 something, and now it's €899. All of which means the best place to play GTA 6, which I'm assuming is going to be the PlayStation 5 Pro. Who knows? They might have a load of issues with it, but let's say most powerful console right now is going to cost you £100, $100, €100 more than it did a few weeks ago, and that is before you buy the $70, more likely $80 game.
That's another conversation.
A whole nother conversation, which we have had many times.
Yes, I'm sure we'll have again.
And we will definitely have again once that price is confirmed. But yeah, so I'm afraid this isn't really breaking news or any news that you can jump on now to go and save yourself some money. But if you were holding out for a PlayStation 5 Pro bundle plus GTA 6, I mean, that's going to now be almost $1,000.
Yes, knocking on the door of $1,000. That's just crazy. The psychological tip to a 4-figure investment to play, a really amazing, exciting game that we talk about every single week. It's a load of money, and you cannot discount, given the pressures in the wider world and all sorts of different conversation, how much that is asking of people to play the premium version. I do wonder if that will mean that, actually the uplift for PS5 Pro sales, etc., is not going to be as large as maybe people anticipated. Because, my view is that I do want to play it in PS5 Pro, but at the moment I can't see myself forking out that money for it. Now, I'm sure through work or something we will see it running on the Pro.
Yes.
But at home, I don't see myself making that investment at this point in time.
No, and even if you were looking to, as some people will be, to upgrade from PS4 to PS5, it's now still £100 more plus. Now, UK digital edition of a PS5 was £400, now 520. Regular 445, now 569. Plus the game, it's over £700 to upgrade to a PlayStation 5 now. So, there we are.
I was going to say, all you can hope is that as we get nearer to the release of GTA 6, which is almost at the cusp of Black Friday, you get into the classic holiday season discounting. So fingers crossed some big retailer comes in and does a bit of the discounting for us.
Yeah, special bundle deals.
But it may only take it back to the price that it was before Sony increased it.
Which, I was still flirting with it being acceptable at that kind of level. So, we'll see. Okay, now, if you've been on the socials this week, you'll have seen some posts / leaks, although they're actually not really leaks, are they? Around Rockstar employment costs between 2019 and 2025.
Yes.
And this has been analyzed by a YouTuber called Saku505.
Yes.
They've done some calculations and then came out with the suggestion that GTA 6 will have cost Rockstar Games more than $3 billion by the time the game is finished. What we've done, what Dan has done, is gone away on a little homework mission and done our own little analysis on this. But firstly, the numbers that are being floated around, can we trust them? Where have they come from?
Yes. Now, actually, I didn't actually. My first question always when something like this comes out is like, is it true? Can we verify it? Now, actually, yes, you can. Now, I didn't find this exact document that was doing the rounds on social that actually tallies up years worth of salaries. But what you can find, if you go to the UK government website, like, gov.co.uk, there is something as part of that called Companies House, which is where all registered, listed companies have to provide this or publicly stated accounts. So you can go on this website, find Rockstar Games UK Limited, and there they've got a list of all of their accounts from this year, dating all the way back to when they were put into place in 1997. It is, for an accountant or someone who loves noodling through stuff, an absolute treasure trove of trivia. I'm almost slightly kicking myself that we haven't done this earlier, but I guess the reason is because it's very complex and there's so much to analyze anyway.
And we have, 45 weeks to fill, so don't get it all out there in this episode.
We can come back to this, but since this has been flushed into light because it's done the rounds through the GTA community and on socials, it felt like a good moment to sense check, is this true and verifiable information? Yes. Is the total cost that people have come up with for the development of GTA 6 correct? To cut to the answer a little bit, yeah, it's kind of in the ballpark. But I think what would be fun to do is to dig a little bit more into how that breaks down, how you come into that number. And through doing that, there's actually some pretty good trivia that you can get from the numbers themselves. Now, the analysis, easy for me to say, the analysis we're talking about is from the YouTuber, say, Sacco505, who I wasn't aware of prior to this call, so I can't sort of attest to the reliability of this YouTuber. But I think the work they've done is solid. In terms of the way they've chunked out the numbers and they've extrapolated them. Very similar thing to what I do. Now, the YouTuber themselves is very clear about there's a lot of caveats with these numbers. So, for example, and these are just a few things we have to be mindful of, these filings that go on Companies House sometimes contain major revisions. So one example of that is the staff expenses for 2019 were initially listed at 90 million, but reinstated the following year at 200 million. Whoops.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It was at 90 million, and then they suddenly went, actually, 110 million more pounds was spent on salary.
Fiddle-dee-dee, look what we found down the back of the sofa.
Oh, we had to employ one guy.
Now, that seems crazy, right? That you can lose 110 million. And it's a lot of it's in the way. Sometimes mistakes happen. Quite often it's to do with accounting procedure and basically putting the wrong expense in the wrong column or the wrong thing or listing it the wrong way. I don't want to get into the. I neither could nor want to get into the detail of where that 110 million went, but it shows you the type of thing that can happen with these accounts where you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. It's also a little bit unclear if the documents only cover UK salaries related to Rockstar Games developments, which we're chiefly looking at as GTA 6, or if they include the gross salaries and I guess all the bonuses, pensions, other payments for Rockstar Studios worldwide. The YouTuber does guesstimate those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I haven't had a chance to even begin to verify that. But you have to think that there's studios such as what was once upon a time Rockstar San Diego, Rockstar Bangalore, which we talked about in the last episode, the QA studio.
Yeah.
We can probably verify the number of employees, average salary, and work out a sensible number for that. I haven't done that analysis, so I'm going to take the YouTuber largely at face value.
So we're saying that this is going to cover Rockstar UK, which is essentially Rockstar North.
It's North.
And Lincoln. And other
and maybe
smaller.
Leeds. And maybe the London. So actually, there's a lot of even within that. There's a London office that's largely, but not entirely, administrative. There's Leeds and Lincoln, the QA office, and then Rockstar North, like the dev hotbed. Now, when you do dig into the reports, there are some really interesting quantifiable numbers here. So, for example, and this is based on 2025, Rockstar Games UK Limited had 1,744 employees in 2025. And they actually break that down. So it was 1,625 in development, 119 in what they call admin. Mm-hmm. Admin means marketing, PR,
back of
house staff, right? Now, there's an interesting bit of scaling. Back in 2020, and this is actually when Rockstar internally and Strauss Zelnick on earnings calls has said, this is when work on GTA 6 began in earnest.
Yeah.
Now, clearly the game began, we know it began years and years earlier. I think this is when, based on which leak story you believe, they locked in the format, the Lucia and Jason story, and went, right, let's make it and do it.
And they got like behind development in a bigger way than before. Like they were like, okay, they're moving teams around going, now you're GTA 6 focused.
So for the purposes of this analysis, we'll take a 6-year chunk of time from when development began in earnest to today, or when the game launches, to do our estimates on wages. You could definitely argue there were people working on this before and it might swell the cost.
Yeah.
It's just, you've got to draw the line somewhere, right? So some fun facts, because within this data, this is good because within the data is some incredible stuff that shows you how expensive video games are.
Well, I think me and the audience will be the judge of how fun these facts are. But let's see.
I think they're pretty fun. So, for example, maybe I'm too nerdy. Rockstar list, and this is part of like an environmental policy, they list that they used 13,522,000 kilowatts of energy in 2025.
Woo!
Right?
Get the pie hats on.
Yeah, now that on its own is like a massive number that doesn't mean anything, right? So I spent a few minutes this morning working out the average standing rate charge. I'm such a nerd. Standing rate charge of electricity plus what you would pay per kilowatt hour, right?
Yeah.
Now, my maths tells me that is as much, it's possibly the highest number this could be, is £3.3 million a year on energy. So that's
like electricity we're talking
electricity
about, right? Like
and gas, right?
Heating.
Yeah,
lights.
And a kilowatt hours can cover gas expenditure or electricity expenditure, right? And they don't really maybe they do make it clear. I couldn't discern it, right? Now, if that was all electricity, which is the more expensive type of energy, that's up to £3.3 million a year. If it was all electricity, it's about £1 million a year, right? Either way, over the dev of GTA 6's lifespan, 2020-2026, you're spending £18 million on keeping the lights on and running the computers, right? Or maybe as little as 6 million. But it's an astonishing number that you may not think to factor in even before you begin, that they're listing out and telling us. That's a lot of money. And then we'll frame that more within other developments later on. But like, if I was given £18 million to make a game, I'd probably think that was straightforward. Well,
you wouldn't go, oh, that's all.
It's just my electricity bill. So that's just that's a fun aside of the level of stuff within it. I think it's fun. Again, there's my life for you. Now, what you can do even further from this, Rockstar list things like what they call cost of sales, which is broadly the cost of doing business. It's almost all salaries, right? Now, that is £381 million a year. And salaries actually makes up, like I said, £363 million a year.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Now, that 363 million includes pension payments, social security, loads of other sort of benefits that aren't, like people get salaries. You don't see that number, but it's a cost attached to you for the company of hiring you, right? Then you can go even further then and go, if there's 363 million of costs, there's 1,744 employees, you can work out the average cost of each employee at Rockstar. That comes to a staggering £208,000, 142 quid for each employee at Rockstar.
Now, before anyone gets excited, that's not a salary.
No.
And it's not even an average salary, right? That's just how much each person working at Rockstar on average costs them.
Costs the company on
It's
average.
not like everyone is taking home 200 grand a year.
And you can drill down, you can actually get the salary number, which is a slightly smaller number, and divide that by 1744. Mm-hmm. And then I think you come to an average salary without benefits of £161,000, right? Which is huge.
And we were talking about applying for that QA job just the other week.
Now, there will be employees within Rockstar possibly listening to this now going, I earn absolutely nowhere near £161,000.
Yeah,
I'm going to phone my line manager. I'll go and join. I'll go and join the employment union, right? Like it's staggering. Now, what you have to take into mind is that, first of all, that we've taken out basically all the bonus pot money, which will, like all things in life, ladder up to the most senior people in a probably disproportionate way. Rockstar in 2025 put aside £45 million for what they called equity settled share-based payments. So they're paying out almost £50 million a year in bonuses.
And what are they doing in 2025? But that's just, it's not even related to game sales, right? It's all like company bonuses of you have performed, the company is outperforming what you said it was going to do, have a bonus for the people at the top level of the company. It's not like everyone. Who knows? Maybe they are getting a bonus every year, but
it might well be that every employee or levels of employees do get some stock options unlocked based on time of service.
Yeah.
Companies like Apple use that, and it's a really key part of the remuneration. And it's a retention vehicle to get you to stay longer. So you go, if you stay for 3 years, you get this amount, 5 years, you get this amount. People get kind of locked in to doing it. I don't know the intimate nature of it at Rockstar. I would have thought, or would have liked to have think that everyone gets some exposure to it, but I dare say that's super graduated. So if you're at the top of that tree, Sam Houser, etc., you're probably more exposed to the good part of the 45 million than
the bigger chunk, the bigger slice of the pie.
Than the guy in Lincoln who's absolutely boiling inside about it and feels incentivized to leak it to the world or something, right?
Well, who knows?
There's a different thing. But just to flag there, obviously not everyone at Rockstar North earns £161,000. The average UK developer salary that I'd benchmark is about 50 to 70k. So you might get some people there who are earning in the six figures.
Yeah, and some of the roles that we've discussed on the show before that they were advertising in New York were like $100,000. But that has to take into account the cost of living in New York is significantly higher than it is in the UK, etc. So everything doesn't match up. You don't get a role that's the same in the UK as it would be in the US. Salaries are always going to be higher in the US traditionally. But that's, I think these are good numbers. I'm leaning into the fun now.
Well, we want to head to the fun. So the fun is what does that mean? If you look at the full run of, let's say they've been working for 6 years at this current salary base, right? Now, and it isn't entirely true to say that this many people worked. It wasn't 1,700 people across so many years. So there's probably some outage in my numbers. But you basically would do 6 times 363 million. That would bring you to a salary cost of 2.1 billion, right? during what's called the earnest dev phase of GTA 6. I actually think is slightly lower because they've scaled up the employees as they've gone.
Sure, yeah. Oh,
But
so you think this number is low?
No, high. I think this number's slightly high because what I haven't done is adjusted for lower numbers of employees at the start, like 2020.
Yes.
And it's increased. Like they've added employees every year.
As they've kept going.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've just taken the number today and worked back. It's probably a little bit high, but I only mean high as in like a few hundred million out.
So maybe like that 0.1.
Yeah, and on the original post that did the rounds on social for this, there was a commenter who sounded largely sensible, who basically said he thought the cost was like 1.82 billion, right, between 2019 and 2025. So it's still a 6-year gap. He just moved it forward a year. So actually, my thinking is in the ballpark of his.
Okay.
So it feels like these numbers are actually coalescing around a very good directional, essentially, right? Now, he said himself, and this was in relation to the original post, he just said 1.82 billion in total staff costs. He goes and shows this massive spend, but it doesn't equal the clean audited GTA 6 budget. So it's like huge payroll, yes. 3 billion confirmed cost for development, no. Broadly agree. But then you have to factor in loads of other things, right? Because while salaries are a huge part of the GTA 6 dev budget, there's also equipment, buildings, travel. Now, these are the chunkier ones. Music licensing.
Yep.
Marketing, massive chunk. Actors' fees. Now, we've got some insight. And in fact, the YouTuber who did this analysis did some of this work. I haven't been able to pull this work apart, so I'm quoting here from like his sourcing. He's approximating the marketing cost at $300 million to $500 million. We know Strauss Zelnick's talked about marketing's going to be massive, it's going to be mainstream, it's going to be red meat, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah, they've got to go buy that burger shop and deliver all that red meat to us.
Deliver the red meat. So that's in pounds, £227 million to £378 million. Now, I'll come on to it at the end. Licensing for music is hard to quantify. He's guesstimating $10 million to $100 million because there's a lot of unknowables.
And who knows what the big artists could be, like loads of different configurations of that. Yeah. So
yeah, and it depends. Pick your artist. There'll be some, if they were going to get a Taylor Swift track versus an upcoming indie band, they're just paying dramatically different rates is the reality of it.
Yeah, of course. And there'll be people who want to be in it who will be like, actually, I don't need very much money. I just want to be in the game.
There'll be, were those fees to leak, I'm sure there'd be a lot of raised eyebrows in the disparity. And then the other factor, and we don't know this, is how much are Rockstar paying outside of the UK accounts. And now, as we say, maybe the numbers are already baked into the UK accounts. We don't know. The guesstimate was $130 million. Now, the marketing thing I want to pick up on, because just to contextualize this, right? What's the most an entertainment product has ever spent on marketing? If you had to, and you know the answer because it's written down, but if you had to guess which film has spent the most money on marketing in history, what do you think it would be?
If I actually had to guess without reading this, I would probably say it was a Marvel, like Avengers or something. But obviously there's been more films more recently than that. And I'm actually surprised by the answer because I didn't think that the marketing for this film in particular was that massive.
Yeah, so I was surprised. So I'd have said a Marvel film or something like Avatar.
Yeah.
Would have been my guess. But apparently the answer is Wicked. Not the answer is Wicked. The answer is Wicked, the movie, the musical, which holds the record for the highest marketing campaign for a theatrical release. And that's campaign spending of about $350 million, £265 million. Now, that's actually in the same bracket as this guy has guessed for marketing for. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah. And even after all that money, they still couldn't convince me that film was good.
No, neither did I want to see it. No. So, marketing, half your marketing spend is wasted. Which half? All of it in that case.
All of it on these two.
Now, for gaming, this again is a bit unverifiable. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 holds the record in as much as we can verify this. And they spent around £120 million, and that's back in 2009. So there's a bit more baseline setting for you. So I think that guesstimate of about a £250 million marketing budget is about right.
Yeah. And we should definitely dig into like this, especially that Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and like work out where they spent that. Like, what did they do to spend that money? Was it just all advertising on, billboards on TV, etc., or did they do like something a bit more extravagant for that?
I mean, what was the year? I don't know if it was the year that we were both in the industry together. There was a year where Activision paid for was it the Hollywood Bowl or the Staples Center? And they held a concert with the guy from Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, Eminem, Rihanna.
That was at E3 time, wasn't it? When they closed off the E3 conference with, here's the trailer. And then they went, for all of you in the room, we're going to have a little private concert. And then the live stream that we were watching stopped. I was not in the room. And then everyone was like, oh my God, Eminem's here. Rihanna's here. It was like, great. They just dangled the carrot and then didn't let us watch any of it.
And I can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago, but I remember going to that concert. It was like, at one hand, unbelievable because they'd paid clearly wedges of money to all these super big pop stars. They'd invited all of Hollywood to attend. So like literally, I bumped into Paris Hilton or the back of Paris Hilton. Literally bumped into Paris Hilton.
Great.
And I just looked at her and went, wow, who's that really tall, shiny person? And I went, oh, yes, Paris Hilton. She didn't do that and go, hey, it's GTA. And I wasn't even GTA 5 O'Clock's Dan Dawkins at that stage. I was just Dan Dawkins.
Yeah.
So on this occasion,
though.
Only just. It was on the pivot point.
Yeah. You were thinking about becoming GTA 5 and Paris Hilton.
Were we ever to meet again, Paris? I forgive you. Okay, it's all right.
She didn't push you into the podcast game and be like, you know what? I really like that upcoming game, GTA 5. I'm excited about it. I wish someone was doing a weekly podcast about it.
She can claim credit for it. So all of this is to say, do we believe that GTA 6 will be the most expensive video game ever made? Yes, unequivocally yes. I think it's almost certainly going to be the most expensive entertainment product of all time, right? And I've also, again, I won't read all this out. I've written about this quite extensively on the newsletter, where it's easier to write this sort of stuff because you need to lay it out. There's lots of numbers involved. But there was an analyst firm called Convoy who threw some numbers around late last year. And in fact, they'd suggested a $2 billion development fee for GTA 6, which sounds, now we think actually sounds about right.
Pretty
it's basically salaries, right? And then I contextualize that with, well, what's the most expensive video game ever made to this point? Now, according to Wikipedia, it's, again, you'll know this because it's written down. I don't think you'd have guessed it otherwise. Monopoly Go is cited as the most expensive game ever at $1 billion.
What are they doing?
Pay-per-click acquisition, and they've rolled in the marketing cost.
Okay, so that obviously it accounts for all of the advertising and everything. So they're just okay.
Otherwise you'd be like, I don't see Monopoly Go as a highly expensive AAA endeavor, right? But I think the cost of maintaining that engine is astronomical.
Sorry to any Monopoly Go fans as well.
I'm not dissing the game. I'm not dissing the game. It just doesn't look like the most expensive video game of all time.
No, you wouldn't have picked that on your bingo card of what is the most expensive video game of all time.
Now, a game you might have picked as the most expensive of all time and was talked about this way was CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Now, that has an estimated cost of about 400 to 500 million. But as you can see, these are $500 million projects. GTA 6, we're talking about let's say $3 billion, 2 to 3 billion project. It's 4 to 6 times more expensive than the most expensive entertainment projects in history. Further bit of qualification here, again, just for funsies, it's nothing to do with energy. You might have watched Mission Impossible films, right? And been impressed when Tom Cruise lowers himself down that giant Burj Khalifa skyscraper, right?
Yeah, that I was impressed with.
Yeah.
The last bit of that film series, not impressed with. Final Reckoning was terrible.
Okay, I disagree, but let's not get completely lost in the weeds of that. I do agree that the films were probably tighter and better earlier on.
The final film is just like, look at all the cool things we did, aren't we great?
Possibly true.
For 3 hours.
I still enjoyed it. Oh, man. All right, anyway, let's put that into our Mission Impossible series podcast, Mission Impossible Low Clock. Now, the Burj Khalifa apparently only cost a mere 1.5 billion. So the GTA 6 could be double the cost of one of the greatest pieces of human engineering run by one of the most, prosperous nations on earth. That is boggling, right? But the one thing before we stop talking about this, and I promise I will, the final thing is that some people in comments were going, oh, lol, $3 billion development costs. Rockstar are going to lose money. Ha, ha, ha. This is going to be like a dev flop. I'm paraphrasing, right? To be really clear, there is almost zero danger of GTA 6 losing money, right? Now, the estimates are, and some of these are literally verified by Rockstar themselves or Take-Two themselves, that GTA 6 is going to make probably, lowest estimate, somewhere in the region of $2 to $3 billion in the first few weeks or months. That's its entire development cost covered within weeks/months of sale. Now, we know this because Rockstar have actually said it, or Take-Two have actually said it. Now, I spent a stupid amount of time last night combing through earnings calls to try and find the exact date it was said. I couldn't find the thing. My memory tells me it's something Lainey Goldstein, Rockstar's CFO, Chief Financial Officer, had said on an earnings call. He'd basically been asked to provide guidance for the next year's financial numbers. And that was the year that GTA 6 was going to be in. And long story short, he gave a figure of $8 billion, right, for that year's revenue projection. And up to that point, the average run rate of all of Take-Two's stuff was 5.5 billion. So what that says to me is they were accounting an extra $2.5 billion dollars to GTA 6 alone.
Yeah, which is an incredible amount of money. But as you say, even if we took in the highest amount of these figures, almost covers the entire development cost for the last however long you want to say, 5 years to 5 years plus. And then you've still got GTA 5 Online making money, and eventually you'll have new version of GTA Online, which is going to continue for another decade or so, plus the re-releases of GTA 6 about 5 or 6 times, and they're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. My parting shots here are, this number, the 8 billion number, was picked up by an analyst called Chris Scholl from UBS on a call, and he just said to Strauss-Zelnick, I know you're pointing to an 8 billion number of annual bookings. Has any of that changed now that the game's release date has slipped, etc., etc.? Now, this was in the Q4 2025 call in May last year, right? Now, Strauss said, and I'll just cut to the bit that's really relevant, in terms of both our hopes and our expectations, we're more optimistic than we were before. So not only did they at a point in time think they'd make about $2.5 billion from, can't even say it. Every time I say it, I get thrown off. Then they thought they were going to make $2.5 billion from it, right? They now are more optimistic about that number.
Meaning it's going to go up.
Going to go up. What could that number be, right? We don't know. And there's analysts that have said things, again, that firm Convoy, they put a number out there last year. I think it was in the region of, we think GTA 6 will make $7.8 billion in the first few months, right? That's possible. I did a real silly but fun thing in the newsletter the other week, where what I did was looked at the popularity of GTA 5 Trailer 1 versus GTA 6 Trailer 1. Massive caveats around all that analysis. But essentially, GTA 6 is 1,671% more popular than GTA 5 was, right? Based on different snapshots in time. Mm-hmm. Were that to convert to revenue, which it won't, I'm going to be really clear because that's not how these things work.
And you're talking about lifetime revenue of GTA 5 too, right? Or the first bit of revenue?
I will get to that. Okay. So I'm talking about the GTA 6 Trailer 1. I took basically, I think, a 30-day snapshot of popularity of GTA 6 Trailer 1 versus GTA 5 Trailer 1. Over that 30-day period, GTA 6 was 1,671% more popular based on lots of different scaling and caveats, etc. Right? Now, you've got to say that it's much easier to watch a trailer than it is to buy a game. So it's
I will say that.
Yeah,
yes.
It's obvious. So you're not going to get a 1,671% increase in sales. No. But if you did, right, based on the initial launch day sales of GTA 5 that we know, that I think was in the region of $800 million, just shy of $1 billion, that would mean that on launch day, Rockstar would make $14.1 billion for GTA 6 on launch day. If. It won't, because it won't scale that way.
No.
But what this shows is you cannot reframe enough the size of GTA 6. It's the most expensive entertainment product of all time that is going to recoup its development cost within weeks and months. And then potentially, if it mimics GTA 5, keep on making money. Now, GTA 5 has made about $8.5 to $9 billion over its life. I don't know where GTA 6 is going to get to.
No, but even if it just doubles that, it's 20 billion. And that's a good return on your 3 billion outlay, isn't it?
If I said to you, spend £3 to get £9, you'd probably do it, right?
Well, yeah, because the caveat, I guess, is it's not guaranteed that I'm going to get my £9 back.
But I said your maximum, like you could get like that level of return. You're not doubling, you're tripling your money.
Yeah, and there's little risk in my initial £3 because I know that what you're doing with it is extremely popular and likely to get me at least £3 back.
And you get your £3 back within a couple of weeks of this key date, and then it's all upside.
Yes,
Look forward to that £6. Now it's that, but billions. And so don't worry about Rockstar. Things were going to have to go really, really, really wrong for even this level of expenditure to not make sense. They operate on a different strata and plane to any other video game. This is why this is what a video game with what is essentially unlimited resources look like. Get hyped based on that.
Yeah. If you haven't already been hyped in the last 118 episodes, this is the one. Get hyped now. Now, Dan, if you can cast your mind all the way back to last week, you may remember me saying that it was slightly odd that when we were talking about the dialogue system, that about 1,000 plus performers have worked on GTA 6 in some form, motion capture, NPC voice lines, that kind of thing. And not one of them has come out and said anything or realized what they were doing. Well,
my Lord.
Have I got some news for you?
Well,
here comes the fun. Now, I don't know if the studio is bugged or something, but almost to the minute of when I was saying that on the podcast, a post appeared on Reddit. And this post, which has now been removed, by the way, for reasons, I imagine, so you can't go and look at it, but I can bring it to you via the power of the internet.
Oh, good. And so I can trust that you're not making this up.
And a screenshot.
Yeah.
Which we can put on the screen. Now, this did open with some additional GTA 6 info on additional voice and location recording. The information comes from someone close to SAG-AFTRA, no one related to Rockstar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, SAG-AFTRA is the governing body of talent in the US that most of the movies and games have to go through them. They're kind of like I don't know what you would call them. Like a governing body almost, but like their own kind of thing. Everyone pretty much in Hollywood is a member of SAG-AFTRA, as are a lot of up-and-coming actors and voice actors and things. There are people who aren't a member of it, but a lot of the work that you're doing, if you're going through like voice agents and stuff, all go through this company or this governing body. So all of this ties back to what we were discussing last week about the dialogue trees. And we got some comments on this actually when we asked people, are we talking rubbish or does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Sean FK on YouTube said, game dev here. So this is good for us.
Yeah.
No clue of Rockstar's tools, but it's not out of the realms of possibility that a QA tester will see logs of which audio is being played. Those logs help the dev to fix an issue. So depending on how they have it set up, it may literally appear directly on the screen when an audio clip is played, or alternatively be in a console. They will have access to some inbuilt dev tools too, I'd imagine, for a project of this size, or it would take forever to test certain things.
Okay.
So when we were talking about, is this legit that they might have access to all of this information? Probably yes. And then Ladron Dioxino said, QA specialist here.
Oh, you have my attention, QA specialist.
I'm not confirming or denying the authenticity of this Reddit statement because I don't work in the video game industry, but another computational QA and data analysis industry I work for. We were given all variables and assets because some of us also do root cause analysis. So if something goes wrong, in this case, audio and subtitles, we are able to come up with a possible cause for the problem to exist and help on the corrective action instead of just reporting. We test, we analyze, we report. Initially for something to look deeper into, we try and figure out what went wrong, do a replication under different variables, we gather possible cause for the issue and bring up a theory, and then we report it formally to have it addressed and escalated by a more specialized engineering and design team. All of which is to say, all of the things we talked about could have been happening. Like it's not out of the realms of possibility that the things they were saying in that post were actually occurring on screen and stuff like that.
Yeah, because we kicked around the idea of would someone who was doing that activity have access to the dialogue trees and logs?
Turns out, maybe. Yes. And this is why the community is great, right? And everyone who listens to this show is
and
so
that's
good.
why we said, because my gut was like, not that I know, maybe. I don't know. Come and tell us. And thank you, community, for setting us straight.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. So I guess it pushes it a little bit into the realms of being a bit more true for me. So I'm moving the stamp a little bit towards true rather than false.
Oh, well.
But also, though, you know, and we'll caveat with this, I fully believe the people who wrote those things on YouTube, but there is also a possibility where people can just write QA specialist here.
It could be me on 2 shadow accounts.
Yes, it absolutely could be. But then the wording in that QA specialist in particular is like believable.
That's not me.
No, I didn't want to say that. But,
it's definitely not something I can make up.
No.
So yeah.
So yes. So back to the Reddit. This new Reddit post. So this information comes from someone close to Saga, for no one related to Rockstar. At least 35,000 additional lines of NPC dialogue were recorded during newer voice sessions recently. This involved over 300 actors. The dialogue is not related to the main storyline, which has already been largely recorded earlier. It focuses on NPC reactions, environmental interactions and encounters, Strangers and Freaks types missions, and random world events. Most of the core NPC dialogue was recorded prior to July 2024. After the delay, elements that had previously been cut were revisited and expanded, particularly NPC interaction dialogue. These additional recording sessions were started around early December and wrapped up a few weeks ago. The exact dialogue is not visible, but recording session labels provide content. My notes have gone wrong, listeners. But basically,
they've been hacked. It's Kurtage. He's doing it from the travel lodge.
Damn it. The exact dialogue isn't visible, but the recording labels provide some context. And these will be fun to roleplay, I think, Dan.
Yeah.
Right? NPC indoor reaction to exit dialogue.
NPC indoor reaction to exit
So
dialogue.
This is what my interpretation of this
you do want to give me the right.
Let's see if you can roleplay this.
Yeah.
You are an NPC in an indoor environment.
Yeah.
And I am walking out of that environment past you. Here I come.
Am I the NPC?
You're the NPC. You have to do a reaction to me leaving the building. And here I am. I've left.
See you again, sir.
Perfect. Yes, exactly like that. I would think it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
NPC outdoor reaction to entrance dialogue. You're outside the shop now, and I'm walking past you to go into the shop.
Good day.
Yep. I mean, I don't know why it's suddenly set in Britain, but yep.
Well,
good day is fine.
I mean, it could be. It's a bowler hat. He's at the bowler hat shop in Miami.
Good day, sir. Lovely hat.
Good day to you all, sir. Adjust monocle, mocap, adjust into Pilate's frame.
I mean, it's unique.
Yes, it
Maybe
is.
We'll get you back
It
again.
Is. It is. The point's been made, albeit in a way none of us expected.
They also have additional interactions. But these bits are interesting. NPC scenarios 1 to 5. Yes, branch. And NPC scenarios 1 to 5. No, branch. So this would be a thing has happened. and you have said yes to whatever the question is, I think. And it would go down a little branch of like, do you want to, or do you have the time? You would, in the yes branch, number one, you would, if I'm the lead character, hey man, you got the time?
Yeah, buddy.
Perfect. What's the time?
It's 7. I'm now a native of I'm not wearing a bowler hat.
A native of Miami.
Yeah, native. As all people in Miami call themselves natives of Miami. It's 7:38.
Great. And that 3 more times. I don't know what 3 other questions you could throw at someone for that kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to have to phone my agent after this because I'm going to lose a lot of acting roles after this improv.
Well, you say lose. I think you might be in line for a few more, to be fair. There's also NPC Daily Cycle AM and NPC Daily Cycle PM.
Yeah.
Cycling through the times of the day.
That's really interesting because that ties up directly to the leak from last week that we contested. But it did say that NPCs would react to environmental conditions and day and night cycles. So if true, and it's not just someone writing this in response to the other leak because they want to perpetuate the leak, starts to make sense, right?
Exactly. And then NPC social media response positive and NPC social media response negative. Now, I think this is almost, if you like retrospectively go back to the trailer, you see this in the trailer. Like there is Jason and the other guy there looking at a phone going, whoa, no way. They don't say no way, but I think that they say that later. Probably they just cut that bit out of the trailer. So that would be, I guess, positive reaction. And I think you'll probably see a lot of that happening just around the world. Groups of people looking at a phone being like, oh my God. I think it heavily suggests a lot more of a social media involvement in GTA 6 than maybe we thought from at the beginning. I think there's going to be quite a lot of stuff like you doing stuff on social media and then the NPCs reacting to things that you have done or other people in the world have done.
Yes.
Lots of opportunities there.
I mean, in my mind, I'm trying to think what the bowler hat man would say who works at the shop were he to see something on a mobile phone.
Oh, because he's also from the 1900s?
No, I'm just
Why hasn't he seen a
not
mobile phone?
Not that he'd be amazed by a mobile phone, but how would a man who works at a bowler hat shop with an English accent, what would be his positive response cycle to seeing something on social media that was good?
Well, what if he had seen an episode of UK-centric Faulty Towers on social media? Then he might be like, oh, this is fabulous.
Yeah, he might be like, oh, excuse my refrain, sir. This is just so chucklesome. Or something.
Should we get really meta?
Yeah.
He sees a clip of someone playing Red Dead Redemption 2 who goes into a shop to buy a new bowler hat in Red Dead on social media. He's like, what? What magic is this?
Because now he's also suddenly from the Victorian times.
Yes.
Yeah. This goes to show there's a lot that can be done here.
Loads.
Right? Maybe even funnier than this. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
Lots to play with there. Now, but back to on a serious note,
yes.
All of this stuff that we've just gone through has actually been confirmed to us pretty much via a source that I trust, who got in touch and has said, unrelated to this post, that new dialogue for GTA 6 had been recorded as recently as March 2026, which ties into what this Reddit post says of it wrapping up a few weeks ago. And they also noted that the performers were well aware of what they were working on and they are free to discuss it after the game's release. One thing further down the Reddit post that I didn't take a screenshot of, it did mention that ambient and crowd sounds had been recorded in Florida and Georgia.
Now, this is where the bowler hat man drops his china teacup, because the second part of that sentence is potentially significant, isn't it?
It very much is. Now, Florida makes a lot of sense. You'd be there, you record ambient noises for the outside environments, you get groups of people together and get them to talk. Why would you bother going to do that in Georgia if you're not including the state of Gloriana, GTA 6's in-game version of Georgia, in some way? It seems preposterous to do that unless that location is in some way in the game. And I think actually in a reasonably significant way, because if it's only a tiny part, you'd probably get away with doing it in another major city, or even just replicating some stuff that you've recorded from Florida. So Georgia, or Gloriana, is the state that's to the north of Florida. Takes about 7.5 hours in real life to drive there from Florida. Don't think we're going to be doing that.
Not with the refueling as well. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it'd take ages, wouldn't it? Take literally, well, 7.5 hours, not a day, but
yeah.
You leave in the morning, get there in the evening. A flight is about 1 hour 40. Like, I guess with the condensed map and stuff, like possible that you could fly there directly, but I think this is probably a separate location for a mission or two. If
yes.
It is going to be in the game, but it feels like it. So Atlanta is, the biggest city in Georgia. Please correct me if you think there is another bigger city in Georgia or one that's more relevant.
It shouldn't be contestable, really. It's just factual, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if that is actually
true.
A fact.
No, neither do I.
But I'm saying it. So yeah, Atlanta is the biggest city in Georgia. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So, if it is in the game and the rumors of Georgia as a state being in there, or Gloriana as a state being in there, and then maybe Atlanta is a second city or location, it could be much like North Yankton, like you just start there and it's a little bit more expanded and there's a couple of missions there and then you go back to Vice City or whatever. Or it leads us down the road of, is GTA 6 more of the Americas, like its code name, than we think? Like, could there possibly be Gloriana, Florida, Cuba, like all of the things that we've sort of skirted around talking about? There is a world in which all of those things are in the game, and it's much more of a, not global, but the Americas in terms of a storyline, and it doesn't just stay in Vice City, and it jumps around a fair bit more than a traditional GTA game maybe would. Or do you think that's crazy talk?
What I think is, it's been a long episode, and I maybe will leave that hanging, but I do think that Gloriana ... is playing a bigger role than it's just a thing on a number plate. And then my mind was, as you were speaking, cascading to all the various different unverifiable leaks and rumors about the games. Some of them are related to things like the game split into chapters, and they've shown nothing beyond, I think, like chapter 2 to this stage or whatever, right? You've got to think why. What changes? Is it something to do with the characters? Is it something to do with the setting? Let's find out. I mean, a part of me doesn't want to spoil this, right? But we know where the original rumors for what GTA 6 was going to be. That's out in the open. Dan Houser has openly addressed that. There were like 5 or 6 different versions or rewrites. The Project Americas leak has some basis in truth. How much of it retained?
Discuss.
Cue the music. But like, I feel like there's some the facts are stacking up.
Just so Nathan knows, what music are we queuing there? Something from the 1900s or
no, some
exciting
music. I mean, in my mind, every time something significant happens, I always play the original GTA 5 o'clock theme track in my mind.
The theme truck?
Theme truck, yeah. The theme truck.
The theme truck comes in.
We never called it a truck.
Drives in.
Yeah.
And plays the music.
It was an articulate lorry with a brass band on that would play the dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. We should have just played a jingle, but we chose the truck.
Yeah. Well,
that's why the dev cost of GTA 5 o'clock was so high.
And GTA 6 is going to have a GTA 6 o'clock jingle truck driving around the map, just playing the old GTA 5 song that you can see.
Maybe this
branded up with our logo.
We've said too much.
We've said, sorry, that's probably all under NDA. Let's not say
it's
that.
Good.
So, all of that being said, let us know what you think about all of those things in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating or a 3-star or a 1 if you want, but you pick your star rating.
Start at 5 and go up from there.
Go up, yeah. See how high you can get from 5, and then pop over to the YouTube comments and let us know what you think. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at GTAVOclock or via email gtavio'clock@gmail.com. There may be a newsletter this week, but if there isn't, you can still sign up for it by going
The answer is no, there won't be. When you watch this, I'll be on holiday.
Oh, yes, we did cover that last
so
week.
there will be no newsletter as you watch this week, but the week after there will be. And what I'm going to probably try and do is round up a lot of this really noodly financial stuff and some of your feedback about the NPC stuff. Try and make that into a more coherent thing, because it's really complicated, isn't it?
Yes.
So there's that to look forward to, plus no doubt loads of other new information by that time.
Gamesradar.com/newsletter. Click on GTA 6 o'clock. Thank you for doing all that thing. Thank you for doing all those things and for all your comments last week. Please keep them coming in. We do read them all. And with that, we will go off. There's pie in the office today, apparently, so we're going to have some pie. So we're going to go grab some of that, and then we'll be back next week for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.